What's up?
Oh, hi, what are you doing here?
I live here. What the fuck are you doing here? Anyway, check out my costume. What do you think?
It looks fucking great.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. But I didn't show you the best part. It's my skull mask.
Come on. No. Oh.
The skull mask!
Oh.
What? Where are you going? I look tough, like a raider.
Fuck you!
Why do you hate me so much? I'm just trying to be creative. Welcome to the Nuclear Snail channel. Today I have a special guest, Chris from Red Roach Gear.
Heyo!
I will link him and his works in the video description. We have an interesting topic for you today. Cliché items used in post-apocalyptic and dystopian crafting, especially by beginners, which will surprise absolutely no one, especially in 2019. Those things are some that we see a lot of time, and Chris recently wrote to me after reading another comment in the Nuclear Snail community group, or another posting, like, hey, how about we make a...
Oh, but we use the skull mask.
No, how about we make a video about why the skull mask sucks? And I was like, hey, I actually have been planning a video exactly like this, so drop by and let's do this. And Chris happens to have a lot of examples with him as well. So just before you get your feelings hurt or just think as an absolute beginner who has no idea about any of this that none of the things that we are about to show you can ever be used, that is not true. They can be used, and there are great examples of them being used. It's just that the most people don't really use them the way they should be used, right? Most people just go for those things as a shortcut, and that just backfires horribly. We don't have any script, we will just have a sort of a live discussion. So let's start with the first point. Uninspired cheap airsoft skull and mesh masks. Everyone has seen those posted somewhere. Now, there are good examples of them being used. So here are some example photos of those models being used. Alright, now that you have seen what can be done with those masks, look how horrible they look without a lot of good stuff being done to them. I mean, put this on and it will ruin everything. No matter what your costume is, it will destroy it. And I'll let Chris explain why.
Basically, if you wear these things without modding them, you will always ruin the immersion and look like you are wearing a cheap Halloween costume.
Because that's what it mostly
basically
is.
What it is.
Yeah, or cheap airsoft.
Or you will look like someone who's just going to his next airsoft game.
Yes, exactly. While there are great airsoft games themed for the post-apocalypse, this just looks lazy. I think that is the problem.
Yeah, it looks lazy and unimaginative.
Yeah,
if that's a word.
Because I recall we had those those skull masks and stuff on Old Town 2010. And before that, like, they exist since forever. They exist since we all do this hobby and before.
It's basically the same with the wire mesh face protectors.
Yes. And those are the cheapest ones that you can get.
Yeah, it's the cheapest ones you can buy. Which are actually a good base to build something off and not just add fabric all over it.
Here is some fabric, here is some brown paint. It still looks like that fucking mask.
The good thing with the wire mesh is sew or screw anything onto it because you can just screw through it, and then you have a plain surface where you can add anything.
Yeah. Plain surfaces are usually great for adding stuff on top of them. That's why also football shoulder pads work so well. You can take a football shoulder pad and you have a piece of solid plastic onto which you can mount something, but again, in 2019 you will not surprise anyone with just a football shoulder pad.
With one football shoulder pad.
Yeah.
On a leather jacket.
On a leather jacket. With some bottle caps on top.
With one sleeve.
Yes. Ooh, fancy. Like, again, it's not like you can't use it, and like probably half of you watching this have this stuff somewhere or have worked with this.
Oh, I have done this.
Yes, that's why Chris has all those things. He has done them in the past. And maybe sometime in 2010 it was cool, because back then the costuming standards were a lot lower in general. But today, again, you need to mod your airsoft skull mask, or just go with something like this. Here is one from Luca. And this one is custom made. It is made from metal. It is not based on anything, basically. And it's not like we hate skull masks or anything, right?
I love skull masks.
Yeah. And I think there is an additional point about the skull masks, which is this primal human desire to put the skull of your enemy as a mask. I mean, you see it in fantasy, you see it all over the place.
Basically half my outfits.
Yes.
I work with bones and skulls all the time.
Yeah, you're the boner boy.
If you want to say so.
Yes, so it's appealing to something that is supposed to be brutal and primal and all that, and that is fine. But again, that type of cheap Halloween or airsoft skull masks, they will scream for attention, like look at me, and the message they then deliver is...
Yeah, look at me, I'm wearing a cheap Halloween costume.
Yeah, that's exactly that. So this is, for example, why just having a plain, regular gas mask covering your face or half of your face is quite not that bad, wouldn't you agree? It's like
a normal gas mask can work if it's not totally clean, or the standard of weathering on the mask has to fit your overall outfit.
yeah, but otherwise it doesn't have this screaming for attention thing
it's
without
it's
delivering.
not a gas mask, it's a piece of equipment.
Yes.
And a mask like this
It's just looking,
isn't a piece of equipment. It's a fancy look at me.
Yeah.
I'm edgy.
Yeah, it's one of those, I'm so edgy, like Mole Ninja kind of thing.
I play Reaper in Overwatch. I
Yeah.
die.
Yes, it's that kind of thing. So it's basically the dystopian version of kitsch.
Yeah, it's kitsch.
Yeah.
Is the English word kitsch? Yeah,
Yes.
it's kitsch. It's kitsch.
They have a lot of our words because our language is very good.
I agree.
Okay, next point: bottle caps and pull tabs everywhere.
I think I have pull tabs with me because I keep them for crafting. Yes, I do.
You should do it closer to the camera.
Ah.
Here is that is what a pull tab is, in case you didn't know. Dosenlasche in German. So those plus, flattened bottle caps.
Yeah.
Now there is a security hazard with them, especially if you go in-fight on LARP.
Yeah, basically they can... Wait, I can show this real quick. They can break off. And then... Yeah, give me a second. Then you have sharp edges. I hope it will focus.
Yeah, you must block your face. Yeah.
Thank you. So you have the sharp edges.
Take a step away, the camera focuses about here.
Ah, you have... You have sharp edges that you can cut yourself with.
Yeah, but it also is not very original.
No, it's not really.
Not anymore, at least.
Not really. There's a few things you can do with it that are pretty original because it's so much work that a lot of people haven't done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Like making chainmail out of pull tabs or
like a full chainmail.
Yeah, or a shoulder piece or something.
Yeah.
Because if you will do full chainmail, you will oversaturate the outfit and then it will look weird and
possible. Depends on what you combine.
too chaotic.
Yeah.
I think.
It depends, but
I may have to test it.
Yes. Remember the video I made recently with the memorability of costumes?
Yeah.
So with those, conceptually, there is nothing new. Same as with the skull masks, right? This has been done before so many times. That is one of the points. And also technically, it's not very hard to get some pull tabs and put them onto something. I think it doesn't fulfill those 2 points. Technical challenge, conceptual challenge, and it might or might not fulfill the visual aesthetic challenge if you use it right. So
yeah, sure. I think the main problem is if people just use it and slap it onto stuff, like throw everything in but the kitchen sink and just add it randomly, add a few radioactive patches or biohazard patches everywhere.
Yes.
And then it will look like this vest that I wear in private if I go out. But that I wouldn't wear at a post-apocalyptic event because it's kind of kitschy. But I think we will.
I do have a Fandom Patches point here later on, but yeah, basically pull tabs and bottle caps are the post-apocalyptic equivalent of put cogwheels on it and call it steampunk.
Yeah, it's exactly that.
So you can do that, and I've seen it done well, and
Yeah,
even
I've seen
visually
it done very
balanced.
well.
But just as with about anything on this list, doing just those things, those cliché things by itself, without anything special done additionally, will not get you any good kind of attention. It's not that, however, doing anything as a part of your costume is a taboo or something. It's not. You can work well with it. And on Wasteland Weekend, I saw a guy who has done something very new with this. At least I haven't seen it done like this. Like usually you have a jacket like this with a bunch of pull tabs and bottle caps, right? Like that is the standard post-apocalyptic noob thing. But that guy has done literally every single part of his outfit from recycled modern materials. Like he had pull tabs, he had bottle tabs.
Cool.
Yeah, he had like some, I think as base, some belts and shit. Also, like if you would go to the recycling yard and collect all the recyclable materials, I don't remember what else he had, but it was all made just 100% of that. So
that's unique then.
That is an original concept,
yeah,
yes,
sure.
and that totally works. Anyway, we were talking about fandom patches and apocalyptic hazard patches and all that.
The main thing with fandom patches is that if you wear one or two fandom patches and incorporate them into your outfit, nobody will mind about it.
Yes.
But it depends on the event, and at some events it may be very unimmersive for people if you run around with a Boba Fett or a Rick and Morty or a unicorn patch on your outfit.
Or also you have the Wald Boy
from
Fallout here, so this immediately just screams fan of Fallout, which is fine to be. But communicating that as a part of your character, it might or might not fit the event, as you've said. It might completely break the immersion, especially if the event you're going to has nothing to do with Fallout specifically.
Yeah, sure. And if people criticize it, it's not always that they want to harm you or that they want to hurt your feelings. But most of the time, people get angry because the event gets very unimmersive for them. Because they want to be immersed in the character and in the game world. And if somebody runs around wearing a Fallout patch, the first thing that people think is not, oh wow, he's wearing some kind of patch I've never seen before. Most people will think, why the fuck is he reminding me of myself sitting at home at my computer?
But then I'm reminded that I'm me and this is another fan of Fallout in the real world. Yeah, but again, if it is a realistic zombie apocalypse scenario and you're just playing yourself, let's say there are zombie apocalypse scenarios where it's like literally the real world plus zombies, then it's absolutely legit. This is actually also the point why I usually say, if it's an event like this for zombies specifically, don't criticize people with medieval swords and chainmails. I would wear that. You know? It is of course another type of discussion, but if it's the real world plus zombies, then, and you're role-playing a Fallout fan, why not? Or just person who happens to be wearing a Fallout patch as these zombies attack.
Don't tell everyone you found it in a bunker.
Yeah, don't tell anyone you found it in a bunker. We have bleached black stuff as our next one.
Bleached black stuff. I didn't bring any bleached black stuff, but everyone knows how bleached black stuff looks.
Yes.
Most of the time, it doesn't get white or grey. It gets orange.
Yeah,
orange or
reddish
red.
orange, yeah.
And I think everyone who ever visited a post-apocalyptic event has seen someone wearing either a t-shirt or a pair of pants or something
both.
like this, or both, that are sprinkled with bleach.
Yes.
Which looks kind of weird because most of the time I think people would argue that it's a post-apocalyptic world without a society. So I don't think there would be that much bleach around to bleach your pants.
Yeah, and the problem with this, it doesn't just look naturally distressed or something. It has been used so many times.
It looks like a batik shirt. Is it batik in English?
I think. Anyway, or I think it's tie-dye or something like that.
Something like this.
Yeah, the hippies have been doing this before we have been even been born, actually. So this is a very old technique, and when you see it, you just immediately think, okay, he used that technique.
Yeah.
That is the problem in that. It's again just immersion breaking because the result it's produced is so colored by the type of the technique that's been used. Like you can literally see the person pouring bleach on top of something.
I think
it looks okay. Sorry. It's not horrible. It's not worse than undistressed, right? But it's still not gonna surprise absolutely anybody.
I think you can describe it. Is it similar to when you use paint to weather your stuff?
Yeah.
But you can see the brush strokes.
Yes.
And you notice the technique, and thus it's unimmersive, or it looks weird.
Exactly.
It just looks odd.
When your costume, I always say your costume tells a story all the time. So the story this sort of technique tell is mostly about the technique itself, rather than of the character in that world. We have super cool tactical army gear as the next point. Well, it's not exactly that. That's
we have.
Oh, those.
The wire mesh. Goggles.
Yeah, the wire mesh goggles. Well, here it's really the same thing as with the wire mesh mask. It's just a good base, but
tactical shin guards.
Yeah,
which with tactical camo pattern onto spray painted onto them.
Yeah, this model specifically, again, it works, but we all have seen it so many times by now. It's incredible. I also recall a post from Gav Jones in Facebook where he made a typo writing, "I'm rusting up plastic armor for my sins instead of my shins." And I think this is what sinners do in hell, rusting up plastic armor. This is actually also on the list as a separate item. Because
I'm guilty of this. I artificially rust everything now.
Yes, and it can work. Problem is, it takes a lot of time and effort, and
yes.
It's if you do it badly, and especially if you can see that structure. Like, show me that shin pad again. Like specifically this Riot shin pad. You will see this rusted up or painted like metal, even if it's painted realistically. Again, this particular one is the form has been seen so many times. It's again taking you out of the immersion.
It's a Miltech shin guard. Everyone has seen a Miltech shin guard.
Yes, everyone has seen it. Again, use it as a base, use it as a noob. That's okay, but it will surprise absolutely no one in 2019.
No.
But back then it was totally cool. Like again, on Old Town 2010, skull mask guys, they were the shit. All of my friends did it. I didn't. I was too poor to afford a skull mask. Nah, just kidding. We have the typical Welders Goggles. Number one, typical Welders Goggles. And here is actually something I made out of a pair of goggles like this in the past. So again, a great base if you know how to work it. But just painting it brown and wearing it like this, the same pattern, we're not going to repeat the same thing we said 5 times already. It's just surprising no one. It's the other model. Sure, nicely distressed and all.
It's rusted plastic.
Yep. But again, conceptually, nothing new. Can you combine it with something? Yes. Can you wear just this and expect praise for how post-apocalyptic you look? Fuck no.
A thing with these is, I like these because you can basically mod them fairly easy by just taking out the glasses, and then you can add whatever you like, basically. And then they don't look as boring anymore.
Cybergoth colored dreadlocks and cheap goth looking rivets, or just too much unaltered goth stuff in general. Like, is it like there can be no wasteland looking gothic?
No, you can perfectly mix and mash wasteland stuff with goth stuff. I think we will agree that a friend of us, Joris,
yes,
Zero
Tenebris, yes,
does it perfectly.
Yeah,
because most of the stuff is what I would describe as post-apocalyptic goth.
Yes, absolutely.
And, it looks great.
Yeah,
nothing to add there. Basically, it's a perfect mixture. It isn't too goth, if you can say that.
Yeah, it's like basically I think actually as with a regular goth outfit, if you just bought it for $15 at your local goth store, then you will again have all the cliché items, all the stuff that surprises absolutely no one. Even if you leave out the wasteland part, you can have like a custom tailored, super well made goth non-wasteland outfit, and it will look great. But a lot of people will go like, goth is kind of dark and I'm gothic and stuff, so I will just put on my regular stuff and that is wasteland for me then. A bit of dirt.
It's the same with punk clothing.
Yes.
People just go, yeah, let's just put this on. Add a few bottle caps to it.
Yes.
My wasteland outfit is finished. but you can basically see it. You can look at it and go, hey, yeah, that's your old clothes, dude.
Yes. It just looks too close to the real world again, because we're trying to create an immersion, and yes, you can mix and match styles, and again, in some zombie apocalypse scenario there could be a person that looks like a regular gothic, and that's not wrong, but calling it like a wasteland outfit or like 200 years after the apocalypse or whatever doesn't exactly do it unless you mix and match more with other stuff. Now we have the structured side of EVA mats plus brown paint. Where is our EVA piece? Here it is. So let me scale up the brightness here and block out Chris so it doesn't focus on him, but on the EVA piece. So this is the structured side of EVA mat. Now you can come back, man.
I can leave.
Every crafter will recognize this.
Yes.
Every crafter has come across EVA. Now you might be completely new to all the crafting stuff and you discover this actually badass material which has a lot of uses.
Also, yes.
And which also has a smooth side which will work a lot better if you insist on using it as a surface like cosplayers do. But the structured side, it just looks like fake ass thread panels made of metal, in quotation marks. And what happens when you rust it up, especially if your rusting technique is not that good?
You will bend it and it will plop right off.
So it is a great padding, but it's not a great surface unless you're like really master level cosplayer who can paint it really well. But those people don't take the structured side usually. Like, of course, there are always a couple of examples. Like someone will probably post under this video, here is my structured paint EVA with a really good job. But it's 1 of 100 people who try this who actually succeed with that. So structured side of EVA. And also like real world thread panels made out of actual metal with this same surface texture.
The chrome ones.
Yeah, especially the chrome ones, the ones you get in the construction store. Here's an example from Eric actually using small parts of this real metal thread panel, or thread panel, not thread panel. It works. It could also work on a larger surface, okay? But you still have to distress it to at least some degree. Don't leave it just chrome. And also, I think another point, especially with those real metal thread panels in Post-Apo, is it's one of those things like skull masks that just screams, "I'm tough! Like, I'm a warrior!
You know? I broke this off a truck!
Yeah, real man! You also see that pattern on like all the manly products that are marketed like in construction stores to men.
You actually do.
Yes,
right.
Yes. It's like, you can use it, you can tastefully mix and match it, but just putting a bunch of those thread panels, even if they're from real metal, onto yourself. ZNA Productions has some really cool modern looking armors made with those, with nice bends and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
That, like, if you don't know ZNA Productions, check him out on YouTube. It's a really cool crafter guy. He does weapons and armors and stuff. Now, his stuff looks just like realistic preparation for the zombie apocalypse to hit. And it's aesthetically, I would say it's, he's not trying to make it super pimp on purpose. He's just trying to stay really utilitarian in it. And he does like a lot of that stuff. So again, if you're doing some genre that is close to the real world, or even 200 years in the future, I mean, you can use those panels. But you need to make the thing aesthetically appealing, more than just, you know, oh, here it is. Alright, what is our next point? Shitty brown paint in general.
I think the point you wanted to make with this is that if you paint something brown and everyone can see that it's painted brown, and you run around and tell everyone it's rust.
It's not fucking rust.
It's not fucking rust.
Yes.
It's not. It's brown paint.
Yes, so if you're doing paint jobs, first of all, figure out which things could realistically even rust. Second, which things it aesthetically makes to rust up in your costume's particular case. And then if you're doing it, do it good, or don't do it.
Or try it out.
Yeah, on a small piece.
Take a practice piece,
yeah,
and just go wild and test it. See if you find a look that suits you, and yeah, get better. Because you can't learn anything if you don't try.
Right, but a lot of people, especially noobs, will go like, oh, we'll take a jacket again similar to this, like out time jacket. and just cover it in brown paint and go like, oh yeah, my costume is done, what you guys think? And then everyone in the group will be like, chirp.
Or someone will tell them it looks like shit,
and they will be like, why do you hate me so much? Well, no one hates you, just telling you, this by itself will not do it. There needs to be more.
Also layer your paints. Layer your fucking paints.
Yes.
Don't just use one coat of paint and call it finished. Layer your paints, please. Also.
Next point, helmets and other things with Psycho writing on them.
I actually brought a helmet.
Yeah.
I really like this helmet though. It's got cool lyrics on it. Also, it's got a cake on it.
The cake is cool, but how long did it take you to paint all the stuff on the helmet?
Not really long.
So this is the reason why this impresses absolutely no one. It can look cool aesthetically sometimes, but it has again been done so many times by now, like those hand-scribbled things all over your clothes. So it's not a new concept. It might or might not look aesthetically fitting, and it is definitely not taking anyone a lot of effort to do some hand-drawn or hand-scribbled stuff under their clothes. I've seen in some games and stuff, what was the game Wasteland Warriors did promo recently for, Joe did with Fiverr, the...
Far Cry.
Yeah, in Far Cry there is this armor that is painted all over the place and stuff. Yep. It kind of works. I mean, it's not exactly a thing of beauty, I would say, because it wasn't concepted as such. It was concepted as like...
It was concepted as Raiders painting a car.
Yes, as a crazy Raider painting his armor. But it's... and it works, I mean, it does that, story.
It works as a design, as a style to design stuff.
Yes.
It's still very cliché though, and everyone has done it.
Yes, and that is exactly the point.
It's still kind of cool. I really like it.
Yeah. The cool, funny thing is when Chris posted a picture of himself with that helmet, I was like, you did that 2015.
Also with that shin guard.
And was like, you did that 2015. And he was like, exactly that year.
Yeah.
So back then it was cool, but by now everyone has done it since then.
I think you didn't say, you did that in 2015. You said, this looks like what everyone thought was very, very cool in 2015.
Yeah, something like that. And the next point is the Shemak.
What?
The Shemak,
okay.
Yes. So this. Now it can be used, totally. Problem with this
I'm too fucking stupid to put it on.
if you're not too fucking stupid to put it on.
Let's just act as if I know how to put these on.
Okay. Whee! So this will immediately make you look like either an early stage zombie apocalypse survivor or some sort of resistance fighter. Now for
exactly.
For our alien apocalypse stuff, where we are literally the human resistance, I've used these. They're really comfortable and all that. It's just that they work for some specific genres and for some other genres they don't. This is again has nothing to do with Fallout or Mad Max kind of worlds. This is just an item which obviously has a connection to a real world. So if you're designing a character who for a universe which has a decent connection to a real world, this might work. But again, this is a classic resistance fighter look, so beware of that.
You look like a terrorist from Counter-Strike, basically.
If you do it badly, yes, then you will end up like a Counter-Strike bad guy.
If you wear it with your airsoft armor.
Yeah. Especially like top part is like a
skull mask.
Yeah, a skull mask as a top part, then a undistressed Shemak, and then a black gun which you didn't distress because you found it in a bunker.
Yeah, of course.
And then
you can't be distressed.
And then you call everyone an elitist asshole when they point it out.
The festival will weather it for you.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, I don't think we have anything else on our list. Do you have something?
I think the only other thing I brought, because it's very, very, very cliche, is one of these. What are those called?
Skull... Tube skull?
The tube thingies that you put on your face.
Bandana?
Yeah, I think bandana, right?
No, bandanas are the one you can also tear on your head. It's a tube skull.
So that you look evil.
Yeah,
but
ooh, so evil.
You
need some metal thread panels.
You look like a 14-year-old who needs to look cool.
Yes, exactly. And this is the point, like... ask yourself, would a 14-year-old who needs to look cool because he's edgy and plays ninja characters in all of the recent computer games all the time because ninja characters are cool, would he be wearing it? undistressed all by itself? If the answer is yes, then either do something about it or ditch it. Like, you probably have a beautiful face, show that instead of the shitty skull mask. Alright, I hope this was useful to you and entertaining. We'll see you in the next episode. Like, comment, subscribe. Patreon link in the description. First link is the Nuclear Snail community group, where you can post your skull masks and everything else to get some criticism. Link to Red Roach gear is also in the video description. And I will see you in the next episode. Hail the snail!